it's always very sad whenever we read about massacres, domestic terrorism, and the loss of life. And so it is. We must, I'm sure you have seen the story concerning the murder of 10 people at this supermarket, King's Supers in Boulder, in Colorado. And sadly, we discover that all these people here lost their lives at the hands of an armed man who went into that supermarket with a rifle of whichever type and ended their lives. And if you look at them, look at their faces, these are the things that I find hardest to take. Every one of those faces, there's a life, there's a family, there's loved ones who are now mourning, and all because of the actions of a complete lunatic who went into the supermarket on 2 days ago and caused such carnage. However, when these things happen, we do have to then look at the digital sewer, which is Twitter, and read some of the incredible responses to when this happens. I'm going to put some of them up. So let's start with this one, shall we? Amy Siskin points out, yes, let's mourn the victims, but not glorify the killer with the intention of having his name widely known. Why is that, Amy? Why are you so concerned that people don't know the name of the person who carried out the atrocity? Why is that? Here we go, another one. Mina Harris. The Atlantic shooting was not even a week ago. Violent white men are the greatest terrorist threat to our country. Interesting when we discover who the identity and name of the killer is. Here's another one. CJ Whirleman says, the suspected gunman is a white guy, 7 reported dead. So instantly, do you see the trend we're seeing throughout all of this? Here's another one from these lunatics. I just can bring it up. Yeah, this guy, a poor white guy who may have had a bad day or just a sex addict, killed at least 10 people. He was only apprehended and not choked or shot to death because he was not brown, black, or a Muslim. Okay. So that's what you think. That's what your feeling on it is. And then we get to the awful reality that the shooter was an anti-Trump, pro-refugee Muslim called Ahmed Alissa, who was, according to this, an ISIS sympathizer. Instantly, Facebook scrubbed his page, which may or may not be the right thing to do. We can debate that. But the reality is that as we seek to understand who it was that carried out this atrocity, it wasn't a white guy. And the fact that left-wing Twitter seems to be unable to comprehend that there are people who live amongst us who do not have our best wishes at heart. This individual appears to have come from Syria, been welcomed to the United States, and repaid that welcome by gunning to death these people. So when we talk about the open borders and the need to welcome all, and the need not to target any particular ideology, how does that work out when an individual like this targets all these innocent lives and takes them? And all we get on left-wing Twitter is this fetishing about the fact that it's a white guy probably that carried it out. And even if it's not a white guy, you can't mention his religion if it wasn't, practicing Presbyterian or Methodist or something. The fact that we know the guy was a Muslim, we know that he sympathized with Islamic State. These are known things. There may be other factors that we don't know of, and we have to wait for full investigation, obviously. But I have to say with you, when I read some of the comments that came out initially in the immediate aftermath of this from these self-loathers who infest Twitter, who think that the problem is always white men for some reason because they're racist. That's why these people on Twitter who have been exposed by when the facts emerge, these people themselves are self-loathers who think that the only people that can cause problems in the States are white men. I'm sorry, but in this case, and when we think of all those who have lost their lives, the killer was a Syrian refugee who was allowed in, no doubt, to claps and applause from those in the political left. And as a consequence of that decision, this individual is now apprehended by the police and will face, hopefully, due process. But anyway, do let me know what you think in the comments below. But for now, I think about these people, real people, who lost their lives so tragically and horribly in the most unimaginably horrific way, and the folly of those who pursue open borders when it's perfectly obvious that that enables some people who hate us to come amongst us. And once they come amongst us, we then pay the consequences.